So I had a bit of an incident, though, with the dog sitting.
Oh.
This is quite a dog tale here. So that we go there and, the owner is out of town and we got the dog to ourselves and this is exciting because it's Sarah and I, so it's like we're parents. We're taking it for a spin to see if we could, fuck a baby. But we feed the dog and everything. Now, the dog comes up. Sorry.
Were you nervous? Sorry. Were you against the idea? Did you hate it? Did you push back? Or you accepted it? What happened there?
Well, I'm not too nervous because I had just been there a week earlier with the owner, and it's Louis. I don't know why I'm acting like it's not whatever. So I'm there.
That's a big dog, too.
Big dog. So I'm there the week earlier, and I've known the dog for years. So... And she knows me and she likes me and she's pretty low maintenance because she's like a trained this is like a rich people dog. So
yeah,
it's not a lot of whatever. She's not going to bite me. And then she has freedom in the backyard. It's a big backyard and she doesn't go anywhere. So you could just let her be. So it's pretty low maintenance. So I wasn't too worried. But you're always a little worried that this thing's going to fucking die while you're responsible.
Of course.
So night one, no incident. The only instruction was feed her breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then you got to cover her dog door. She's got a little doggy door. So you got to cover that at night so she's not out and about gallivanting. And you got to let her pee right before bed.
I had that when I was a kid.
So we did some trivia, which was fun with a few comics, and that was delightful. I mean, she had been out the whole time. So when it's time for bed, she had just been outside. So I'm like, I don't need to let her out. She just came back in 5 seconds ago. So I close the doggy door. We say goodnight. Fuck you. We go to bed. And about 20 minutes into sleep, you hear the
whimper.
The whimper outside the door. So
I
go, well. And so Sarah wakes me up. I'm conked. I'm out. She wakes me up. She's like, the dog is crying. I go, I'll let her in because I was told that maybe she might want to sleep in our room. Sorry, this is a long tale. I'll get to the punches.
Wagon.
Let her in. I let the dog in. She's still whining, crying next to the bed. And now at this point, I'm half asleep. I took a Tylenol PM. I'm out.
Yeah.
But the dog is just standing there crying. So I pet her. And finally I go, all right, she must need to go out again. I'll let her out. Now, it's 2:30 in the morning. This house is out in the middle of the woods. It's a huge house, like 9-bedroom, 3-floor, creepy, old, built in 1900. So It's spooky. I got my flashlight on the phone. I'm in my pajamas. And like the flashlight, you're using the flashlight and you look over there and like your reflection's in the mirror. I'm like, oh, Jesus.
God, the teeth.
Then there's like, he's like an artist. So there's, what do you call that with clay when you make like a guy?
Sculpting?
Yeah, like it's like little sculptures, a bust.
Yes, a bust.
It's like a spooky bust. So I put the flashlight on a spooky bust. I go, oh, Jesus.
There's your title.
And then I'm like looking over here, and there's a Grammy Award. Oh, gee, it's just crazy looking in this old haunted house, and you're like, this is fucked up. So I let the dog back outside, and then she just disappears because it's like the woods. And it's dark, pitch black woods with one spotlight, which is creepy lighting. You know that lighting?
Yeah. Bad lighting.
Just the one light, and you think everything, those eyes, is that, and it's... And, we're city boys. I'm a city guy. I like the city. I like there's two people right above me. I like there's two people right out there. There's people everywhere.
Yes.
So I'm out in the woods, and... Now, it's a pretty rich island, so I'm not too worried. You have to have that thing where you're like, calm down, there's nobody here, we're gated in, whatever. But the dog disappears. I start to get spooked because it's like 10 minutes. And then I'm like, is she getting eaten? Should I go out there? So I turned into a huge pussy. I called Sarah. I'm like, Sarah, you got to come down here. And she's like, what? I'm like, just come down here because I'm afraid to go look for the dog. And then the door's like, it shuts and I can't get back. I'm like Fred Flintstone out there.
Wait, there's no leash?
No leash. I just let her run out there.
But what if she never comes back?
Well, that's the fear. That's what I start worrying about.
Jesus.
But I'm like, she's a disciplined dog. She costs $48,000. She was trained by fucking, Clifford the Big Red Dog's dad or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So Sarah comes down. She's got one eye open. She's like, what is this? I'm like, I just stand here so I can go look for the dog. So I'm in my underwear. I'm looking for the dog. Finally, I call her over. She runs over. She comes back in. I'm like, okay, now we're good. We go back to bed. 5 minutes, I leave the door open ajar. Maybe a half hour later, I'm sound asleep again. She comes back in. This time she's growling and crying. I've never heard a growl.
Whoa.
This is a first-time growl.
Uh-oh.
So,
FTG.
So I go, all right, she must be anxious. So now I'm starting to have an anxiety attack because you start to think maybe someone's downstairs.
Oh, God.
Because you're like, why is she growling? Why is she crying? She doesn't need to go out. She was just out.
Yeah.
And I've slept in the house the week before. I spent a week there. This never happened. So she's behaving in a way that she's never behaved. So I'm like, okay, maybe something's got to be wrong here.
I'm terrified now.
So now Sarah made the joke. She's like, now I'm starting to believe in ghosts. I've never believed in ghosts. I'm like, maybe there's a ghost. Like, we're changing our beliefs. And I'm like,
God.
Maybe
now you're a ghost guy.
Maybe someone broke in. So I'm like, fuck, should I go down there? What do I do? I don't have a weapon. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So you have to start calming yourself. There's no way anyone's in here. And there's a boop, boop, boop if the door opens. I locked all the doors. We're on fucking expensive, exclusive island. So I'm like, there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with the dog. So I'm like, she must be nervous. Louie's out of town. And I'm like, maybe she senses our anxiety. So I'm like, I'll pretend to sleep. Sarah, you go on your phone and she'll just eventually stop whatever. But I can't ignore her because she keeps being like, I've never heard her growl. She's growling.
Oh, my God.
She's whimpering. I try to pet her. I try to put her in the bed. I try to leave her in another room. I'm trying to figure, I'm like, this is fucking insane. Something's going wrong. Finally,
Uh-oh.
she goes over to my luggage and just goes, blah, just pukes everywhere, all over my dirty clothes, a little puddle of shit. She just pukes green dog. She had to puke.
Oh, my God. What do you think it was? Did you feed her some jizz or cookies?
No, well, I've seen her throw up before. I guess they eat grass or a leaf, or maybe she's sick and they haven't gone to the doctor or whatever. But she threw up twice. Right next to some on my clothes, then a little pile right next to it. Then she heaved next to my shoe, which I thought was going to be payback for me shitting in a shoe 20 years ago. And as soon as she puked, went back in the other room and just conked right out. Never a problem again. But here's the thing with dogs. You're playing, what's that, charades. Because I'm like, maybe she's anxious. Maybe she misses her dad. Maybe someone's here. And I think the whole time the dog's like, no, I got to puke, you fucking idiot.
Wow, but hey, I also brought you outside, you twat. Why didn't you yak it up in the lawn?
I think maybe she yacked once, came back and had to yak again, or what? I don't know if she got the flu or corona or what, but it ended up being a puke after that. Problem solved, but man, it was scary and exhausting. And afterwards, I just felt like, I just passed out because I was so drained.